All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're tackling the Bhagavad Gita,
Oh, the Gita.
using its Wikipedia page as our guide.
Okay.
You probably know it's a sacred Hindu text,
Right.
but there's wisdom here that goes way beyond just religion.
Absolutely.
So we're going to uncover its history, the main teachings, and why it matters, even today, you know?
Yeah, even if you've never, stepped foot in a temple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I find really fascinating about the Bhagavad Gita is it's kind of like a philosophical time capsule tucked away in this epic, the Mahabharata.
That's true.
Right. And just picture this. It's the eve of this massive war.
Oh, wow.
Tensions are high.
Yeah.
And this prince, Arjuna, he's having a total existential crisis.
Right on the battlefield.
Yeah. So we're not talking about some peaceful, meditation retreat or something.
No.
This is like high-stakes drama, but with a philosophical twist.
Yeah.
So who does he turn to in this moment of doubt? Like his therapist?
Well, not quite. He turns to his charioteer,
Yes.
Krishna. And here's the big but, Krishna is also an avatar of Vishnu,
Oh, wow.
a major Hindu deity.
So it's like you're about to face your worst fears, and your Uber driver turns out to be a god.
Right, offering life advice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay, that's next level carpool karaoke right there.
definitely.
So what is it about this situation that is making Arjuna completely, freak out?
Well, he's literally about to face his family
Oh,
and friends on the other side of the battlefield.
talk about a family reunion gone wrong.
I know, right?
Oh, man.
He's caught between his duty as a warrior, but also the love he has for these people.
Right, that's a dilemma that thankfully most of us will never have to face.
Right.
But you can see how this epic showdown is the perfect setting to get some pretty timeless wisdom
Absolutely.
about duty, about choice, maybe even the meaning of life itself.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a text that was probably written around the 2nd or 1st century BCE, possibly by multiple authors.
Right, which makes it even more interesting.
It does. It's like a philosophical tapestry
Yeah.
woven together over generations.
Reflecting how thoughts evolved over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at its core, the Gita has these teachings that still resonate today.
Absolutely.
Dharma, karma, bhakti, and moksha.
Big words, but really important concepts.
Right. They're more than just these exotic sounding words.
Yeah, they're like frameworks for understanding how to actually live a better life.
A more fulfilling life.
Exactly.
So let's break these down a little bit, starting with dharma.
Okay.
You know that feeling where you're pulled in a million different directions,
Oh, yeah.
trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing?
All the time?
Well, that's where dharma comes in.
Okay.
And the Gita says it's not about just blindly following rules.
It's more than that.
It's about listening to your inner self.
Yeah, your own compass.
Right, and acting in a way that's true to who you are.
Aligning with your true self.
Yes.
It's like we each have a unique role to play.
Right.
And when we do that with integrity, we create a greater harmony.
So it's like finding your lane on the cosmic highway, right?
Exactly.
And driving it with intention.
Yes.
Okay, now karma,
Okay.
people oversimplify it, right?
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, but the Gita is way more nuanced than that.
It is.
It says every action has a consequence,
Right?
but it also really emphasizes the power of selfless action,
Imagine acting not because you want something,
right?
but because it's just the right thing to do.
It's about aligning your actions with a higher purpose.
Exactly.
It makes you think, how often we get caught up in the outcome.
Instead of the action itself.
Yeah, like worrying about Instagram likes instead of actually enjoying the experience.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about bhakti?
Bhakti.
This sounds like, something you'd hear at a yoga studio?
Maybe, but it's about cultivating a deep connection to something bigger than yourself.
Okay.
It could be a deity, a force, even just a sense of purpose.
Right.
The Gita says that devotion and surrender can bring inner peace.
So it's not just about, chanting mantras.
Not just that.
It's about cultivating trust and reverence
Yes, opening your heart to something larger.
than yourself.
Yes, letting go of your ego and your worries.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, the last piece of this puzzle is moksha.
Moksha.
It's a word that comes up a lot.
In Eastern traditions,
Yeah, but what's it mean in the context of the Gita?
have you ever felt this sense of, oneness? Of being connected to everything?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a glimpse of what moksha points to.
Ooh, interesting.
The Gita says that through dharma, karma, and bhakti, we can transcend our ego
Wow.
and realize that we're part of something much bigger.
So it's not about escaping life, but understanding our place in the universe.
Exactly.
But how does a text from thousands of years ago actually help us do that?
Well, that's where the structure of the Gita comes in.
Okay.
It's divided into 18 chapters,
Wow.
each one offering a different perspective on these teachings.
Like a multi-course philosophical meal.
Exactly. Each chapter, a different flavor of wisdom.
Okay, I'm hungry for more. Let's dig in.
Okay.
One that caught my eye is chapter 11.
Vishvarupa Darshana Yoga.
Yeah, sounds pretty intense.
It is.
What's the main idea there?
Imagine being able to see beyond everyday reality,
Okay.
witnessing the entire universe inside one being.
Wow.
That's what Arjuna experiences.
Really?
Krishna reveals his universal form,
It's like a cosmic revelation.
a moment of pure realization.
It reminds me of J. Robert Oppenheimer.
The physicist.
Yeah, he supposedly quoted this chapter after the first atomic bomb test.
He said, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Powerful stuff.
It's incredible how a text from ancient India
Yeah.
could resonate with someone at the dawn of the nuclear age.
It really highlights the timelessness of these teachings.
Absolutely.
So, moving on, what about chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga?
This chapter is a great starting point.
Oh,
If you want to connect with the Gita's teachings,
how so?
it dives into the power of love and surrender as a way to achieve liberation.
It's like finding peace amidst chaos.
Yes, through faith and trust.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, if chapter 11 is about cosmic revelation and 12 is about surrender, what about chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga?
That's the grand finale.
Ah.
It ties everything together.
So it gives an overview of all the teachings,
Exactly.
focusing on self-realization and liberation.
Yes, integrating all the key ideas.
Wow. So each chapter is a different lens to view these teachings.
It's true.
But there's another layer here.
The commentaries,
Right. The Wikipedia page mentioned all these commentaries.
written by scholars throughout history.
Yeah, what's the point of those?
They're like a chorus of voices,
Okay.
each one offering their own interpretation. Imagine one piece of music, but with countless variations.
So they show how the Gita has been understood over time.
Exactly, across different philosophical schools.
That's like a conversation across centuries.
As a dialogue that continues to this day.
Amazing. Can you give us a taste of these different interpretations?
Well, one of the most influential comes from Adi Shankara,
Okay.
a philosopher from the 8th century.
Hmm.
He saw the Gita through the lens of Advaita Vedanta.
Advaita Vedanta. What's that?
It emphasizes the idea that reality is non-dual,
Meaning?
that the separation between you and everything else is an illusion.
Wow, that's a mind-bending concept.
It is a profound perspective.
Are there any commentaries that disagree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Abhinavagupta, a philosopher from Kashmir Shaivism.
Kashmir Shaivism.
Yeah, he believed in a duality of reality.
Meaning?
He saw the self and matter as distinct but interconnected,
So, two different forces.
intertwined in a dance.
So where Shankara saw unity, Abhinavagupta saw a more complex interplay.
Exactly.
It's amazing how the Gita can hold such diverse interpretations.
It's truly a remarkable text.
Are there any commentaries that bring the Gita closer to everyday life?
Jnaneshwar's commentary is a great example.
Right.
He wrote in Marathi.
So, more accessible
Exactly. He stressed devotion and inner renunciation.
as a way to live the Gita's teachings.
He connected the wisdom to the experiences of ordinary people.
It's like he's saying, okay, this philosophy is great, but how do we actually live it?
Yes, how to apply it to our daily lives.
It's fascinating how these commentaries show the Gita's ability to transcend time and culture.
Its message resonates across boundaries.
Exactly, and we'll explore those boundaries even further in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. So, before we got sidetracked by all those commentaries,
Right.
we were talking about the battlefield as this, metaphor for our inner struggles.
Yeah, it's such a powerful image.
It is, right. It takes the Gita beyond just a war story.
Absolutely.
It makes it relevant to, anyone.
Even if you've never, held a sword.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the battlefield becomes this representation of, our minds.
Or all these thoughts and emotions are clashing.
Right, and Arjuna's dilemma, his struggle with duty and love.
It reflects the conflicts we all face when making tough choices.
It's like that feeling of, what should I do versus what do I want to do?
Exactly.
But how does the Gita reconcile this inner struggle with its stance on actual violence?
Right.
Especially with the concept of ahimsa, nonviolence in Hinduism.
That's a great question.
It seems like there might be some tension there, right?
There is. It's a topic that's been debated for centuries.
So what's the deal?
Well, The Gita's approach to violence is complex.
Okay.
On the one hand, it says that fighting for justice might sometimes involve conflict.
Right, so it's not saying to be passive no matter what.
Exactly.
But how does that work with nonviolence?
The Gita says that true strength comes from self-control
Okay.
and acting in line with your dharma, even when it's hard,
So Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight,
but to do it without hatred.
without getting caught up in the outcome.
Focusing on his duty with a clear conscience.
It's about purpose, not anger.
Right.
Reminds me of Gandhi.
Oh, yeah.
He was inspired by the Gita, right?
Deeply.
But he was all about nonviolent resistance.
He saw the battlefield as this inner struggle between good and evil.
Okay.
The real battle was against our own negativity.
Greed, hatred, those things.
Exactly.
So for him, the Gita was about conquering those inner demons
Through self-discipline
and a commitment to truth.
and justice.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
So Gandhi saw the Gita as a call to action, but an inward one.
Right, focusing on personal change to make the world better.
Okay, let's circle back to those commentaries for a minute.
Sure.
They offer so many different perspectives,
It's like looking at the Gita through different lenses
each commentator highlighting something different.
and revealing deeper layers of meaning.
It's like having a conversation with history's greatest thinkers,
All about this one book.
but each with their own unique take.
Exactly.
So let's start with Adi Shankar again. His commentary is like a classic.
It is.
What's his main takeaway?
Well, he viewed the Gita through Advaita Vedanta.
Right, that non-dual reality thing.
Exactly.
So he's saying that the separation we feel is an illusion.
And the Gita shows us how to break free.
Wow.
It's a profound perspective.
Are there any commentaries that challenge that idea?
Of course. Abhinavagupta from Kashmir Shaivism.
Right, we talked about him.
He saw a duality in reality.
Mean,
The self and matter as distinct forces.
but still connected.
Interwoven. Yeah.
So two different sides of the same coin.
In a way, yes.
It's fascinating how the Gita can hold these opposing views.
It speaks to its depth.
Are there any commentators who bring the Gita closer to everyday life?
Dhyana commentary does that.
Okay.
He focused on practical application.
Meaning,
He emphasized devotion and inner renunciation.
as a way to live out the teachings.
Yes, to make them real in our lives.
It's like he's bridging the gap between philosophy and action.
Exactly.
It's amazing how these commentaries show the Gita's reach.
It goes beyond borders and time periods.
Exactly. It's influenced people all over the world.
It has thinkers, leaders.
We mentioned Oppenheimer, but are there other examples in the West?
Definitely Aldous Huxley, for one.
The Brave New World guy.
Yes, he was fascinated by the Gita.
Really?
He saw it as a guide to understanding the human condition.
Even in a rapidly changing world.
He found deep insights into meaning and harmony.
It's incredible how a text from so long ago can still be so relevant.
It speaks to something universal within us.
And it's not just about individual people, right?
No, the Gita has also influenced movements.
Like social and political movements.
Exactly. How so? Well, its teachings on selfless action
Okay.
and fighting for justice.
Hmm.
They played a big role in Gandhi's philosophy.
Of nonviolent resistance.
Exactly. His movement for India's independence drew strength from the Gita.
So the Gita helped inspire social change.
Absolutely. It showed the power of its message in action.
To challenge injustice and create a better world.
It's a powerful example of the Gita's impact.
And its influence keeps growing.
As more people discover its wisdom,
Through new translations and interpretations.
it's a text that invites us to keep exploring.
To keep digging deeper and finding new meaning.
Exactly. The conversation never really ends.
This deep dive has been amazing.
It had
We've explored so much.
history, teachings, commentaries.
And the Gita's global impact.
It's a rich tapestry.
It is, but there's one more thing we need to discuss.
Oh, right.
The Wikipedia page mentioned a debate about the caste system.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is, but we need to address it.
We do. It's important.
So in the final part of our deep dives,
We'll unpack this complex issue.
stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, and we're diving into a bit of a sensitive topic.
Yeah, the caste system.
Exactly, and how it relates to the Gita.
Right. It's a conversation that needs, careful consideration.
Absolutely.
It's complex.
So the Gita's idea of dharma, duty, it's kind of at the heart of this discussion, isn't it?
It is, because critics argue that it reinforces this rigid social structure.
Right, the caste system.
Yeah, and that it limits opportunities and, creates inequality.
So how do we square that with the Gita's message of, fulfilling your duty?
Well, it's important to remember that dharma is It's multifaceted.
Okay.
It's not just about svadharma.
Duty based on your social position.
Right. It also talks about universal principles.
Okay, like what?
Ethical living, compassion, self-realization.
Things that go beyond any specific social system.
Exactly.
So it's not about blindly following the rules, but about understanding your role.
And acting with, integrity and compassion.
In a larger context.
Yes.
But the Wikipedia page did mention that some people see the Gita as, like, endorsing the caste system.
Right. And that criticism comes from certain verses.
Okay, which ones?
Well, there are verses where Krishna talks about creating the four caste division. And some people interpret that as like divine approval for this hierarchy.
That has led to discrimination.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so how do people who view the Gita positively respond to that?
They argue that the Gita shouldn't be taken literally.
Okay.
That its teachings on Dharma are about inner transformation.
And spiritual liberation.
Right, which are available to everyone.
Regardless of their social position.
Exactly.
So they're saying the Gita's message is deeper than any specific social system.
They point to verses about the equality of all beings and the importance of compassion and respect.
Which aligns more with the Gita's overall message.
Of universal love and understanding.
Right, and there's also the allegorical interpretation.
Right, the battlefield as a symbol of our inner struggles.
And Dharma as like conquering our negative tendencies.
Exactly, striving for self-mastery.
So it's not about reinforcing social structures.
But about personal growth and spiritual evolution.
Wow, this deep dive into the Gita has been incredible.
It has been fascinating.
We've covered so much ground.
Origins, teachings, interpretations, its impact.
It's amazing how the Gita can speak to so many different people.
Across cultures, across time.
Its teachings on duty, action, devotion, self-realization.
They touch on universal questions we all face.
It's a text that feels both ancient and timeless, right?
Absolutely.
It makes you think about the meaning of life.
About our inner struggles.
And how to connect with something greater than ourselves.
It challenges us to be better.
So, if you're curious, I really encourage you to explore the Bhagavad Gita for yourself.
There's so much to discover in its pages.
Find a translation, read some commentaries, and see what resonates with you.
It's a journey worth taking.
And until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.